Exercise 13. In this exercise, we take a look at the capabilities inside ProEngineer when creating what they call a variable section sweep. As you can see on the screen, you can see like a bottle, and it's non-symmetric. And we're going to take a look at how to generate this geometry. Also, as a subset of this exercise, we'll look at actually creating the helix, which is the at the neck of the bottle, which is the thread. So we'll look at some tips and tricks on that. So to begin, it says here, sketch an 8-inch vertical line at the front datum plane. Hit done. So we'll select the front plane, start our sketch, and we'll zoom up till we don't see the dashes too often in the crosshatch pattern. And then we could go ahead and start sketching. So we're going to take the line tool and draw a line, and then middle click, and then double click on the dimension and make sure it's 8 inches. And hit done. The second part says select the front plane and sketch a spline using 3 points. So we're going to create the left-hand side of the bottle if we're looking at it from this perspective. So there's just a subtle curve on that side. Okay, so we select that front plane, start our sketch, take the spline tool over here on the right, and we could begin sketching. And we have through points from file, cross section, or from equation. We actually want through points. Hit done. And then over here we actually, as you'll see, what I was just talking about, that we have spline, whole array, single point, options like this. You could just hit done. And over here we have define. Okay, actually let's hit cancel here for a second. Forgot to hit the sketch button. Alright, we actually want this spline. That's actually a 3D curve. We don't want that. Let's backtrack. Here is the spline tool, and we just glide up here on the left hand side and click and drag out our geometry. And we could drag it even beyond the boundaries of that line if we want, and then middle click to complete it. And as long as the alignment down here is correct, if you locked into that horizontal center line, you're in good shape. And then we just hit done again. Okay, the next part is we sketch another spline on the right hand side using the front plane. So let's begin with that. Select the front plane, start your sketch, and in the make sure over here, this is where I made the mistake last time. I forgot to hit the sketch tool because it was out of the screen. Hit sketch and make sure you select spline. And in the manual I give you a series of dimensions that you can use if you want to make it look exactly like the bottle that's in the book. Otherwise you could kind of freeform it, kind of use your imagination and generate the bottle geometry in any way you see fit. Okay, I'm going to hit done. And now I have the 3 pieces of geometry here. And now it says control select in order the 3 sketches, go to insert variable section sweep. So the first one we select is the middle or the vertical line. Second one is this the 3-point spline, and then the third one is the right hand side spline, more complex obviously. So I'm going to hold control, select this, and then this. Now I go to insert variable section sweep. Okay. The next part says select the edit sweep icon from the command line and don't forget to set it to solid. So right here you'll see that there's the solid option, and right now I'm on page 23 of the book. And then we could select the sketch tool, create or edit sweep section. So click on solid and then create sweep section. And if we rotate, you can see our plane is actually picking up on the right plane at the base here. And from that, we could take our spline tool and come off of those points and generate our geometry this way. Okay. Now to get smooth geometry, it's not a bad idea to go in here and take center lines and draw some vertical center lines off the ends. Actually, let me undo that. And then we could try and apply tangent relationships. So we could go to tangent constraint and make it our curve on the ends tangent. And in this case, it will be a little bit smoother when we look at the side profiles of the bottle. And then take the line tool and close it off at the base. So from here to here, you want a solid line. Okay. And now we just go ahead and we hit done. And we can see a preview of our bottle. Let's make it exactly 1/2 of it. Hit the done tool. And there we go. Now, before we mirror it, you could start putting the additional features on, like the fillets and things like that. And then also there's a little detail in here. So for that, let's go and we'll go to the fillet tool right here, or the round. And 0.13 is fine for this, although we could go ahead and click on the edge and drag this out a little bit further just by grabbing the points, manipulate it till we like what we see. In the middle, click to apply it. Okay. Now to get a contour on this, similar to what we see in the book, actually, scroll down here, we actually have a label recess. To add that, I don't actually have that in the book, but what you can do, you could take the front plane and then you could go to the offset tool, or actually the plane tool here, and we'll go ahead and select, it's already selected as an offset. You could actually just drag it up above the surface. Any height will do. And now we could select and start a sketch on that. And then we could draw our label recess. I'll just draw a straight line at the bottom and then take the spline tool and try and roughly follow the geometry that's there. Kind of make it look like it's following the outer edges a bit. You could always manipulate it by grabbing corners and points. Okay, then add some sketched fillets, or sketch blends right here and here. Then we could put in dimensions for those. So in this case, I'll make those 0.25. Alright, the next thing we want to do is we want to extrude it and offset it from the surface of the bottle so we have a slight recess. Now to do this, we actually need to create a surface that's offset first, and then we could use it to extrude up to. So, for example, we could go ahead and hit done here, and we'll go to insert. So what you want to do is you select this surface here. You have to click on it a couple times until it turns to this pink color or salmon color. Now you could go to edit and you'll find offset. Offset will allow us to offset a surface. In this case, we can see the preview of the offset is 620 thousandths of an inch, and it's on the outside. We actually want it reversed and a bit less than that. So we could actually drag it down and then change the value to 0.0, and we wanted this recess to go approximately 30 thousandths, actually 60 thousandths deep, so 0.06. You can see a bit of a preview there. Okay, and hit apply. And now what we do, we go to extrude, select our geometry we want to extrude. Okay, I discovered I had a little mistake there. If you can extrude it, what sometimes happens is that the geometry didn't get trimmed here. I must have selected an option that just kept it. So make sure that those, where you put the fillets or the rounds in and on the sketch, that geometry is deleted by clicking on it and hit delete on your keyboard. And then when you're ready, you can hit done. And now we should be able to extrude this. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in our value. Actually, in this case, we want a different option below here. We want this option here, which has a little red line it goes up to, which is extrude up to a selected point, curve, plane, or surface. Select that and hit the reverse switch here and cut. And then you could go ahead and if you right click, you could select the surface. Okay, and we need to select that. Let's get it from here. Actually, if we go to wireframe, we might have a little easier time. There we go. We got the surface. Okay, with that surface selected, make sure you select solid instead of surface, as well as the remove tool. You should see a preview like this, and hit apply. And then if we go back to the shaded mode, we can now see we have a recess of 60 thousandths. Let's go ahead and we'll fillet that and make sure that the radius is set to 0.06. And we can see our preview. Select it one time for the inner edge, and then we'll go ahead and add one more round on the outer edge. And that's how you could create your label recess. Okay, we'll put one more fillet over here. We could actually, that offset surface, we could right click and we could hide it if we want, so we don't need to see it. We'll add one more round up at the top here and increase that in size to about 130 thousandths. And from here we could go ahead and mirror this across. So let's go ahead and select the geometry. Over here on the right you'll find the mirror tool. Okay. And then actually we would have been better off if we select all the features first. So hold Control, and from the feature tree select all the features. That means the extrude and the rounds, as well as the variable section sweep. Then you can select mirror, and then you have to select the mirror plane, which is just the flat surface, or it could be your front plane here, and hit apply. In this case, we got a little error message around the fillet up at the top. Didn't seem to like that. We'll just go ahead and hit OK. We could always go back and change that, or try and add another round on there. Okay, and this finishes up part 1 of exercise 13, creating the bottle. Part 2 will include creating the thread as well as some shelling options.